Hey, we are on this time. I just put the recorder on. We had a few minutes, and then I realised I wasn't recording it. Well, I was recording it, but there was no volume on it. I have to have the microphone on. I'm here today with Jessie Hall and my friend Alan. Hi, guys. Sorry, you got to say hi again.
Hi, Miss
Hello,
Karen.
Jesse. Hello, Jesse. Hello, Karen.
Just to
Hi,
say that
Eddie.
Alan put your name forward, so thank you very much, Alan, for us to have a chat. And actually, I'm in your place right now because you're the person that usually does all the interviewing.
Yeah, we have a weekly podcast that goes every Thursday called The Missing Link, where we interview different people from around the world just to find out, kind of from our perspective and asking our questions on, who they are, what they want us to know, but what, kind of like if you check out the interview with Sasha Stone we did, a couple weeks ago, I asked him pretty intense questions, which, he was, it seemed like he warmed up to me by the end of the interview.
Does it ever get you into trouble?
No, because like when we interviewed Lee Camp, who's a political comedian, someone who I followed for, maybe 10 years, he, was able, we asked him a whole bunch of questions and he thrashes both sides. He's not left or right. It just seems he says he's kind of left, but, he kind of is against all the whole system, but we found out, he is for vaccines and, I'm completely, against them. And, so we get to discover things, but when we found that out, we didn't go into it at him and make him feel, like he's being attacked. I just move on. We're just finding out what the people are about, and then I move on to the next question. I'm not into it for a debate. I'm not into it for, trying to convince them otherwise. We're just trying to find out what they are and what they represent.
Alan, do you want to ask any questions?
Not at this moment.
You're listening. So yeah, I can tell that you're just you're doing something. I can tell by your eyes. But I've been like that. I told you I used to have my camera on all the time, and it really means when you've got the camera on, you need to be looking at it, because if you start looking left or right or pulling faces, people see it. So you've got to sit there really sort of neatly, haven't you?
And I write down a lot of questions, so, I've got to be able to read my questions without, making it look too much that I'm, looking down at a piece of paper, just trying to be as professional as possible when we're interviewing, especially these big name people.
I find myself when people come on, that people, because of my channel, everybody knows that, to come on and give your story, the same thing, that people do a lot of talking. Sometimes I talk on my videos when I make them, but when we have hangouts, mostly the people are doing the talking. They just like to tell you what they've got to tell you.
And that's what The Missing Link is about. It's not about me, it's about who we're interviewing. So it's really about holding space, asking questions, and then getting them to share, what they're about and, who they're about.
I'm sort of the same myself. That's why I'm not so worried about not having my camera on. I don't mind not having that on anymore, because I don't think obviously I know Alan a bit better and sometimes we have a bit of a laugh, but basically about the people, so I'm the same really.
And I'm looking for knowledge. I want to gain knowledge. The knowledge is power, and the more we can understand, the more we can know where people are coming from, then the more, solidified we are in our beliefs and our thoughts. So it's really about just, getting a deeper understanding of where people are coming from to see whether or not we resonate with them or not.
So for people who don't know, who's Sasha Stone then?
Sasha Stone is from the International Tribunal of Natural Justice. So he's an ex-rock musician, or a former rock musician. He's a great painter. He lives out in Bali, and, he used to work for the United Nations, looking to make a difference. He's gone out and he created this tribunal, which goes after, exposes the, sex trafficking, the pedophilia, the frequencies, whether it's the 5G or the injections that people are getting. So he did a great video with Mr. Jim Humble on MSM, and it's the Miracle or MMS, and it's the Miracle Mineral Solution, and it's helped for people to get off of pharmaceutical drugs when they've got malaria. So they just take this Miracle Mineral Solution, and then within like an hour, they've already their malaria symptoms are going away. So that's naturally healing and curing people. So he did an amazing video on that. So there's just a lot of amazing things that he's doing, which is helping humanity. So I resonate with that kind of stuff 100%.
All right, so he's a real person then.
There's people that are trying to call him out, and there's always trolls, there's always people that say he's this and he's that, but I've been upfront with everybody and showing everybody who I am. But I've also got trolls that for some reason, when someone doesn't like you, they want to publicly either humiliate you or discredit you or speak lies about you. But from what I see and from what I know and from the message that Sasha Stone brings, I think he's an amazing person.
So what do you think about David Icke then? Or is it not? Shouldn't I, because you don't like to get too personal, I suppose. But what do you think about David Icke? Because I don't mean to be horrible, but I've made videos about him that he's actually Gary Newman.
That he's which?
Well, I did an overlay of pictures, and he looks like Gary Newman, who was here in my car. Da-na-na-na-na. He was a 80s singer, Gary Newman.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but I know that he was a soccer player. He was an international soccer player, David Icke, and then he became a sportscaster. And then
no, it's not that he's meant. You're meant to know that he was Gary Newman. He just loads of people will say that he's Gary Newman. Yeah, he's lying. I don't know about him. I went up to London a few months ago to a march, and I mean, I didn't go to that one. I wanted to. No, I did go. I missed that bit of the speech. That's right. But he was there, and then when I watched it, it sort of brought. It's like it made me gulp because he was going freedom, and I was like, oh, it really got me, the passion of this wanting freedom. But I'm just not sure about him.
I don't know a lot about him. I haven't done my research for the interview yet. I know about him from over the years. I know about him exposing, the deep state and the cabal. He talks a little bit about, kind of reptilians and, things from other dimensions, which is kind of a little bit wild theories, but it's something that I cannot prove or disprove. So it's just another one of those things just to collect information on. Some people say that he's a Freemason. Some people say that he's controlled opposition. But from what I see and what he's doing, and anyone that's exposing the deep underbelly of what's going on, I don't see how it's a benefit to them to be exposed, because how they stay in power is by secrecy, by their secret societies. So anyone that's exposing them, it doesn't really make sense to me how they're exposing themselves or wanting themselves to be exposed. That doesn't really resonate.
I sort of understand, because if you're going to be like interviewing people, you don't actually have an opinion most of the time, and that's why people like my channel, because I have an opinion on my videos, but I don't, that's why we have anybody can come and talk on the channel, because I don't necessarily agree with everybody, but it's good to hear their point of view.
That's exactly it. And I'm not there when I'm interviewing someone to attack anybody or to try to
not
convince
either. But I don't think I'd pick him. But I suppose, I don't know, I have other people. Yeah, we interview other people. So yeah.
Yeah, and
You've got
I'm
to
not
kind of
there
not have an
to
opinion, really. That's it. The host can't have that much of an opinion.
It's just about holding space and finding out what they're about, asking good questions that they can, tell us who they are and what they're about. And because when people are out in the media, you see what they want you to see, they want you to hear. But when you can ask them questions that can, kind of get to know them a little bit on a more personal level to see not just what they're, kind of presenting, but, kind of them on a more, deeper level. And I've got a really good BS detector. So when I ask somebody and I'm looking at them, I look at their facial expressions. I look at, how they're answering. I look at that to see whether or not it's coming truthful from their heart or whether it's coming from, a place of defense where they have to defend their position and instead of actually
you're trying to see what they believe in.
Exactly, to whether or not, because like I said, like there's people that are saying bad things about Sasha Stone. There's people that say bad things about David Icke. There's people that say bad things about me. So is it coming from a genuine place, or is it coming from a place of jealousy or envy, or or just like some people are just got hate in their heart, or most people have been programmed to be divided, so they look for things to divide themselves from other people, and that's how these people stay in power, is by people being divided, whether it's on the sex or the your sexual orientation or your color or your religion, or whether you're going to get vaccinated or you're not going to get vaccinated. It's everything is in place in order to keep people fighting and divided, because the only thing that they're afraid of is a unified people that will take them out.
Yes. How long have you been doing this then, Jess?
So I've been like I've knew things have been wrong for about 30 years. I remember 30 years ago, I was, in with a whole bunch of friends. I was organizing people. We were going to like take out the government, and like, this was 30 years ago, because I knew, things weren't right. I ended up, kind of getting into, the party scene. A little bit of drugs and alcohol kind of took me away from what my mission was for, a good 10, 15 years. And about 8 years ago, I quit drinking alcohol. I stopped smoking cigarettes. I stopped synthetic drugs, and I've really been focusing on learning and exposing and trying to unify people. So I've been going hard, on Facebook for maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10 years. But, this interview stuff, like I broke my foot in Thailand about 4 years ago. 3.5 years ago, and I was stuck in Thailand. I was doing live videos there every day, just kind of, just showing the stuff about Thailand. And then after about a year after that, so this about 3 years ago, my friend and I, Melissa Sterling, we did live videos for 90 days straight, just talking about different subjects, whether it was serenity or, like all kinds of different subjects just for human development. But and when the lockdown started, in last January, so like maybe 14, 15 months ago, I felt really vindicated, because I've been really going and pushing the truth for so long, and telling people about what's going on with the satanic Luciferians, the the sacrifices, the the cabal, the money thing. And so I've been going hard for, like I said, like 8, 9, 10 years, but almost 30 years I've kind of known and kind of like been sharing this stuff. So when the lockdown started in January, when this stuff happened, I kind of felt vindicated that now everybody is finally waking up to the truth, and I didn't have to go hard on pushing, this kind of darkness that I wanted to kind of get myself out of, because when you're researching and when you're learning all this stuff, it's in a really, really dark place. So it takes a really, really strong person to stay out of that darkness and not become part of the darkness that you're enveloped in every single day. So we started this thing called the High Vibe Love Tribe, and that's where we came together every single day for 11 months straight to give people a nice safe space to just come together online. So I went live. I danced for the first like hour. We did put some electronic music on, did some cardio workout with some weights and some dancing, and then after that we switched it on to some guided meditation. So I really wanted to teach people about kind of quieting the mind, slowing down, kind of getting to know themselves better, getting to know their chakras, their energy points, things better. We put on some healing frequencies, did some Tibetan singing bowl, and I did the healing runes that come from like Vikings, where you pick out these stones. And so we did this every single day for about 11 months. And then, some things happened. Some people, were out there, trying to discredit me and, saying bad things and, things like that, lying about me. So we kind of put the High Vibe Love Tribe kind of on a hold, maybe you do it every little once in a while. And then we started this show called The Missing Link. And so The Missing Link has been gone for 9 straight weeks. So it's been about 2 months where, we're just going and interviewing different people. We started off with Anna Maria. She's a political activist from Denmark, and she lives in Spain. Then our next interview was Juan Antonio Manzur. He was a Canadian medic that taught, in the army, that taught other medics, to go to war and stuff like that. And so one day he just woke up to what was going on. So, he's been a big, vocal person who, share, what's really, really happening. Once you wake up to what's going on, it's hard to be in a position, especially if you're in the army or in the, a police force, or you're in the, maybe like a lawyer or a judge or something. Once you wake up and you don't want to be a part of the problem and you're looking for solutions, it's hard for you to continue on in your role. So we also interviewed John Keane from the Best Damn Podcast Show. He's one of the smartest guys that I've ever talked to. So much information. We've also interviewed Lee Camp, who's a political, a comedian who's been going hard for about 10 years. We interviewed Sasha Stone. Oh, and who we talked about. Last week we interviewed Dr. Daryl Wolf. He's like he's a natural doctor, and he's totally woke, and he's talking and he's exposing the 13 families and, talking about, what's been going on. He knows all about the Rockefellers and, obviously people know what the Rothschilds, who kind of control the banking. A lot of people don't know about the Payseurs, who are the ones who, are above the Rothschilds, kind of, controlling things, with, kind of the Vatican and the Jesuits and the black nobility and stuff. So, we're just really just looking to gain as much information from people in a real interview setting, like just a one-on-one conversation where we can share with people different people's point of views. And I don't always agree with everybody's point of view, like Lee Camp and, being for vaccines, but it's not about interviewing people we agree with. It's about interviewing people that people need to hear where they're coming from.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same person usually myself. I've been doing it probably a bit longer than you, but on YouTube. Where do you do yours then? Where can people find you?
So we have a Facebook page called The Missing Link, and it's a page. And then we also live stream on YouTube under The Missing Link is the YouTube channel as well.
I've got it here. I'm just going to move this because obviously I was on your page. This is with the video on. There it is. It says The Missing Link was live. Interview 8 with Sasha Stone. There you go. That's what you look for then.
And then we also have the YouTube channel. I don't have a lot of subscribers, so if anybody's listening, especially from YouTube, please come to the Missing Link YouTube channel. I think we got 125 subscribers on the YouTube channel right now. But Sasha Stone shared the YouTube videos, and I think his YouTube, the YouTube videos that we have on the Missing Link channel and the YouTube channel is got like 3,000 or 4,000 views already. All the other ones have got like 15 views, 30 views. I think Lee Camp is 125 views. And then Sasha Stone, because he shared it onto his wall, you know, there's 3,000-4,000 views, and my subscribers went from 50 to like 120, 50 to 126 ever since he shared it out. So, you know, we're really looking to build the YouTube portion channel as well. So please come and subscribe if you know you use YouTube.
Yeah, that's what this will be on. I'm on YouTube a lot. I'm on a couple of other places, BitChute and Odyssey as well. But yeah. So this guy here, he had some good ideas, did he? Because he's the one that's on our screens. We can see.
Which one's Sasha Stone?
Yeah, he had some good ideas, did he?
He's doing some amazing things. So right now they're doing a tour that's coming up where they're going across America. So he's partnered with, or he's connected with Robert David Steele, who used to work for the CIA. And, you know, he's got a lot of doctors, Judy Mikovits, you know, he's friends with, or, you know, kind of had David Icke on his show. He's connected with a lot of big people, and they're really exposing what's going on. So whatever personal feelings anybody has against some of these people, we need to look at what they're doing, not the feelings you have towards them. You know, it's just like, you know, with the whole, you know, the Trump thing. There's a lot of people that personally didn't like him, but he's the best president that I've ever seen since I was alive.
Who's
And
that?
you know,
Who's that?
actually
Which one?
Donald Trump.
Oh.
You know, there's a lot of people that personally don't like him, but I've never seen anybody do as much to expose what's going on and to actually, you know, be attacked. And a lot of people, they have their feelings because of what they're programmed to feel.
Can I say something to you? I know Alan probably won't mind me saying this. The politics is a pile of tricks. The media run everything, and the politics is in that. I don't think any of them are real. They never have the right eye colour. I think someone put in one of my Facebook groups this program they use called Neon. So it's just computer graphics, and they make the people, and that's exactly what it is. I've said all along, they're cartoons. We're not looking at anybody real on the television. They're all cartoons.
Yeah, see, I don't know quite about that, but all I know is from what has happened from results.
I slow things down. But what it means is the politics isn't real. Nothing's real. We're in a game that they've put us in.
I get it that it's two sides of the same bird, left or right. You know, we don't need rulers.
I just think when you wake up, if you really wake up, there are no sides. There is no voting. There's no blue and red. There's no nothing anymore because it's part of their system. That's just me. You know, it's hard to let go of all that because, you know, when you hit it, you might, as a man, you know, like football or rugby, you're going to whatever it is, there's just things you just got to let go of all of it because it's part of their system.
And that's the whole system that has to come down. And what I'm saying is, you know, and I'm saying about Donald Trump, I'm not saying that, you know, he's the one that came to fix things like a lot of people say, or he was some kind of a savior or anything. He's just the best one I've ever seen as a president that's actually seemed as close to, you know, looking to help.
The best actor, you mean? The best actor at being the president.
The best person that's
I mean, a lot of people don't realise America is a corporation. He is the president of the corporation, not the people.
Right, and I think it was in 1776.
I think it was our king, actually. I mean, I can't prove any of this, but what it's led me to is we had a mad King George here, and then he sort of disappeared for a while. He needed to go off and be healed, and his son became the proxy king. And at the same time, he went over to America, became George Washington, turned it into a corporation, which the Queen owns. Right. So the Queen owns America still. And so
Adam Weishaupt.
Sorry, Alan?
Adam Weishaupt.
Who's that?
The founder of Illuminati was George Washington.
Right. Yeah,
he's on the $1 bill. Adam Weishaupt.
Yes, it's all a mystery tour, isn't it, when we start looking at things?
Like Aleister Crowley and Winston Churchill, and he plays a few other characters.
You know, we did, that the hangout that I was just a little bit late for, me and Julian did it. She watched this video and it was talking about the Reichs. What was the first and the second Reich, if we know what the third Reich was? The first and second Reich were part of the same thing. Germany was the Roman Empire, not Italy. Italy was a part of it. So, every day you're finding out bits of information. It's just completely different to what they've told you. Who thought the roads don't? It should be Berlin or Germany. So, yeah, nearly every day I get wowed. But you shouldn't be wowed anymore because it's just living in a bunch of lies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was right about the 1776. So I'm just put up Adam Weishaupt here.
Yeah.
It's his last name is spelled Weishaupt, and
Yep.
so he says that he was a German philosopher, and he says foundation of the Illuminati. It says
Yep.
on May 1st, 1776. That's hilarious. Today is May 1st.
Yep.
So it's exact same day of when Illuminati was created. 1776. John and Adam Weishaupt founded the Illuminati in the Electorate of Bavaria. He adopted the name of Brother Spartacus within the order. Even encyclopedia reference vary on the goal of the order, such as new events saying the order was not egalitarian or democratic internally, but sought to promote the doctrines of equality and freedom throughout society, while others, such as Collier, have said that the aim was to combat religion and foster rationalism in its place.
I think maybe when it started, it wasn't like it is now. It might not have been such a bad thing then. It's just been used and abused and turned into something else now.
Infiltrated.
Or that, the stuff that we're reading on this Wikipedia and all that is controlled by them, so they look to make it in their favor.
Exactly.
So we don't know, because when everything is deception, it's hard to believe anything, whether you read it, whether it comes in a book, whether it comes in a book called the Bible. It's hard to believe anything is actually truth, because this whole dimension is controlled by these psychopaths, and they only allow us to have the information that they want us to have.
Exactly, Jesse.
Well, yeah, they've switched it, haven't they? They've switched the truth anyway. So, what it seems to me is, I've told Alan this anyway, but in the 1800s, sort of, I don't know, about the 1860s, something like that, about the time the orphan children were around, where they were quarantining people and taking their children, they changed all the names in America, but then you became America, and they're pretending that more or less that's the point at which you started. But it's not true. There was a whole country there with towns in it, like Rome's and all sorts of things. They changed it. There was a town called Texana in Texas. They got rid of that town and put a reservoir on top. But if they weren't getting rid of the towns, they were changing their names in the 1800s, just after, what you've just said.
So they actually teach in school that whenever someone takes over, whether it's the Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, or the Mongolians, they come, they burn all the books, they erase all the history, and then they rewrite it into their favor. So if we go by what their history tells us, and this has been happening over the last 2,000 years, it's maybe happened 8 or 10 times. So what is actually truth now, and what is actually real history? Because we're just told what we're told, we're taught what we're taught, and we believe what we're taught, but is it actual real history? It's just his story.
It seems to be changing. Like, I found this article, about Napoleon, when he was kind of captured. He came here, but the people gave him red carnations. And I thought, right, so what does red mean? I just wanted to check, and it said admiration. If not, it's love. So they admired Napoleon. Because basically, I think if he's either not real, a book, or part of the story and game, but he wasn't the baddie. He tried to get rid of the Rothschilds. But then he
And
wanted to
that
take over, so he would have probably been just as bad. But they've totally lied. You know, like you everybody thinks in the awake world, oh, he's a bad man, or he doesn't exist. Actually, he could have been the goodie.
They stick somebody, and then it's a lie. But he's just a fiction. He's just like a fictional character put in place just to help with the deception.
the face behind the movement, and
Yeah.
so that way the people that are pulling the strings don't get, ousted or don't get, assassinated, because the face, whether or not people like them or not, or they have to use them in a positive or negative way, they're the ones who take all the blame for the people actually pulling the strings.
And it's so far back now, we can't really go back and take a look at it and stuff anymore. We can't get back there anymore. 200-300 years ago. This is why I don't understand. Why didn't they just tell us the truth? Why not just tell us the truth from the beginning anyways? We won and we changed everything. We can't do anything now, can we? I mean, but telling us that we live in democracy, what a lie that is. We don't live in democracy. We live in some kind of, well, it's controlled, isn't it? It's we're living in some kind of communism.
But that's how they stay in power, is through their deception. They have to keep themselves hidden in the shadows, because we do have militaries, we do have snipers, we do have people that could take these people out if they really knew how devious and deceptive this whole system is.
Yes.
Yeah, but why not just tell us the truth from the beginning, and then we wouldn't be here, would we?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to uncover all that.
Well, we are uncovering it, not as fast as maybe we'd like to, but it's just, they just seem to be totally protected, if you know what I mean. No matter what we say or what we find out, they still carry on.
They're so arrogant that they put it into our faces, and part of their satanic, covenant, is that they have to tell us what they're going to do to us before they do it to us. So even though they're nasty, baby humping, drinking bloods, they still live by...
Well, one way they've done it is that they've totally lied to us for so long over what we're looking at. So probably 100 years ago, they started to manipulate what we were watching and were able to mind control us, and that's what they've been doing the whole time, is control. And when they said, oh, they were terrible in Russia and they did that to the people, they forgot to say that they were doing exactly the same to us. They were just doing it a different way. And, yeah.
Well, it's like the Bolsheviks that came in to take out the czars in Russia, were the actual, Jewish cabal, were the Bolsheviks. So they came in there and then they painted a bad picture of, the one side.
Oh, but that's when churches came. Like, I realised with the Tsar, and I went out with someone who's an archaeologist, Marie Wheatley. She goes, one of her friends is Brian Forrester. And we have hangouts together sometimes. Anyway, we went out this day and she was explaining that this church used to be a pagan building. And then it all just clicked. This is why you can't find tombstones. They start about 1860 or something. It's because they weren't churches before. They were pagan buildings. And then there was the Tsar of Russia introducing and making more and more churches, but not allegiancing to Rome, which is a load of rubbish now because we find it's Germany. And, but I get very confused because at that point then we realised that the Tsar of Russia looks exactly like, well, he became King of England. So Queen Victoria's grandson. And actually, we think that the Tsar obviously died out in that episode, and the King of England, because he's right. Identical to the King of England. But
they just killed off that character. They killed off the character, and he took the role somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's what this is about. And what we're finding is that there's base actors like, say, Brad Pitt, and he's playing. They use a version of him to make Matt Damon. The rest, they're just all one of another. And the other day I was doing these sort of putting pictures on top of each other and looking at them. Miley Cyrus, Justin Bieber, Katy Perry, Madonna, Christina Aguilera. They're all the same person.
The same with the Beatles and Bee Gees.
Yeah, the Bee Gees with the Beatles. Is Ringo Starr.
And George Harrison.
Yeah.
And Paul and John, they're all the same.
Yeah, and they all check. What it is if you get killed off in that series, then you get put in another. And what I realised, it was actually when I was doing Elvis Presley. What it was is this article came up and it was going, this is Maria with her child, and it could have been anybody holding a child. And then when I was breaking it down and like it just didn't look right, and I was thinking, I know what it is. It's a story. They feed you the story. They tell you all this stuff. Your imagination goes wild. And then there was no Elvis singer. There were singers who sang for Elvis and stuff like that. The whole of Elvis was made for you, just like they did the Monkees. They probably tell you really, because if they say, "Hey, we've made the Monkees, which was made for you, a television program," then basically what they're telling you is they can do it again and again and again, and they do it. And then I realised, like, Katy Perry's supposed to be engaged to Orlando Bloom. But I was looking at all these pictures and I was realising that she wasn't with him. They've all been superimposed together. Like, this whole thing doesn't exist. It's all... Hollywood is just part of a game. And then this article came out and said Hollywood has collapsed. I'm so happy if it has. Because, they're all one actor playing the parts.
Well, some crazy stuff that I've been hearing is that a lot of these actors that have been playing these parts are actually, the men are actually women and the women are actually men. So the men that are looking like women are with, women that look like men. So they're actually with the right sex, but they've just twisted their own that everybody believes. So they're still, they're not, they're in a heterosexual relationship, but they're just playing the opposite part. So I don't know a lot about this, but I know that's been coming out a lot recently.
I didn't do this. There's another channel. He worked out that Bing Crosby played Hitler and had 15 roles. And actually, when he was doing it, it was Dean Martin and Gene Kelly were the person, and I was like, oh, when I watched it was last year sometime, I just thought, oh my God, because they were the same person.
And Hitler, supposedly, so the Germans won the war, but they made it so they didn't, hence why all of the scientists, Operation Paperclip, and all the things that came over, and started NASA and, part of all the pharmaceuticals and all this kind of stuff. But some people say that Hitler is actually Walt Disney. And then, he actually went to Argentina. I watched a series called Finding Hitler. And, they talked about, how Hitler actually had a compound there. And I think that's because it was close to Antarctica. And I think a big piece of the puzzle for that we're all needing to understand more is what's in Antarctica, what's going on there, and why, like when Obama left office, just before he left, him and John Kerry went to Antarctica. That was one of their final things.
I think Antarctica is, because don't forget, they can say that you've been there, but that doesn't mean you have. They just stick them on a plane going, oh, look, he's in Antarctica, and everybody believes it. They stick some pictures up on some ice, and everybody believes it. I think it's the North we need, the other way. They want us to go to Antarctica. We need to go to the North Pole, or whatever that is. It's up there we need to go, not Antarctica. I think they've just...
So
everything's the other way round, I think. And, all the games they play. I mean, Admiral Byrd was made for us. They're all made for us.
Yeah, the North Pole is the tree of life, and that's what they're trying to keep away from us.
Something like that. All I know is nothing is ever the truth. Everything is always the opposite of what they say. And, I mean, I was telling people on a video, and my video got played in someone else's hangout because they were so shocked because I was going, the castles in America. And to them, it was so foreign hearing those words, America has castles, that it made them like, wow. Because, how many people turn around and say there are castles in America? I did. So, there are. And if you look up the definition of what the word castle, it says medieval. So there you go. So why can't they just tell us the truth? There's even castles all over Africa. So there's castles everywhere. Medieval castles.
Well, what they've done to Africa is atrocious. Like France is still collecting billions of dollars off of the mining from France. And so keeping the people poor without proper clean water and food while they just siphon all the wealth out of there. So a lot of the stuff that's happening is really sad and really it needs to be, changed, because, we are all connected, and so when one hurts, we all hurt. So we're only as strong as our weakest link, and we are all linked together, and that's why this is so important. And if everybody was taken care of, if everybody had food, if everybody had a place to live, if everybody, had a semi-decent life, there wasn't anybody really suffering the way they are, then I wouldn't care who wanted to control this dimension and who wanted to play, what we're doing and stuff, as long as the earth and the people were actually taken care of. But it's not. Hence why, I focused a good portion of my life to learning and exposing this, so that way we can finally, kind of understand what's going on, come together and stop it, and then start to heal.
Well, I think Alan and I were in. Well, it's what we want, isn't it, Alan? We want this to stop. Like, I just, basically, I can't, although I put screens on and I'm doing my videos, I can't watch the television anymore. Just can't do it.
It's like Jesse says, the people that are in control, they don't care about us. If we had people in there that cared, everybody on the planet could be taken care of, and the planet could be taken care of, and we could make heaven on earth. But no, that beast system that we're engaging is hell.
It's a satanic system. That's Satan. That's Lucifer is the system. The devil is the system. It's not some man with red horns.
No.
It's the satanic system. And that's what
right.
People are confused. People think that, we can't win because we're fighting some demonic spirits that got red horns that go around, and that's too powerful for us to fight. Only God can beat him. And that stops people from actually uniting and stopping the actual satanic system that keeps us enslaved.
Exactly.
Yeah, because there's nothing more powerful than the people with our spirit.
They created the church and all those doctrines and the scriptures just to mind control the people. So this evil entity system can keep in place by the order followers that keep it in place.
It's the only way
because you can't deal outside of the beast. You have to use their money.
My son was trying to tell me the other day that we're in a monetary system. Until they give us another system to be in, we're stuck in this monetary system with all these beasts.
It's the God of this age. The God that they worship.
I wish. Do you think that you're an empath, Jess?
Yeah, I definitely am an empath. I definitely feel that I'm connected with everyone and everything, and I feel I've been here since the beginning.
You think you're an empath, don't you, Ellen?
Exactly.
They don't like us very much. I'm an empath. They don't like empaths very much.
They don't want us to know who and what we are.
That's true. I'm from or where we live.
Yeah.
Everything is to keep us confused, so that way we stay divided, that way we stay ununited, and that way we stay weak, and that way they can manipulate, they can control us, they can sedate us, they can drug us. They've turned everybody into junkies. Like how much, what would you say the percentage of the world is a junkie? 60, 70, 80% are junkies. They want their injections, they want their pills, they want their aspirins, they want all of these pharmaceutical, this sorcery. They're junkies. They turn the world into junkies. People don't want to feel that they're junkies because they need an aspirin to take for a little bit of pain medication. But if you're part of their sorcery, their pharmakia, then you're a junkie. And that's
what they've done is they turned society into narcissists, and also those narcissists are hikes.
That's a form of witchcraft that they're using. They use many forms of witchcraft.
Yeah, I think they do. I mean, I don't know if that's quite the right word, but you may as well use that word because it kind of is, because they're always channeling you somewhere else, onto something else, whatever they want.
It's witchcraft. It's spells. They're creating spells through the spelling,
Yeah, I
through
suppose
the
you're right.
word.
Spells, yeah. And look what they've done. Most people believe it.
They believe it. Like if you were to say a phrase, handsome as a, start with a D. I don't really like to say some of these words, but because I believe it gives it power. So, but they created people to say that that's a good thing. So they create this big scary monster with horns and all this, but then they say you're handsome as that, and people go around saying these things that as if, but that's part of their spells of them, you know, creating power to the satanic system instead of, you know, people understanding that the
Well,
true
I think
power
making the whole
is.
society, well, trying to make the society a narcissist in the first place means that those people only care about themselves. So it's easier because you've marginalised you, because you're now you're one person that thinks you're better than anyone else, and then they've got you through the screens. Whereas together we're better and stronger.
100% stronger. And then they've done the stuff with the fluoride, you know, the different things that they've, you know, stopped, you know, for our pineal gland, from us understanding our true, you know, psychic abilities,
Not
our
just that, we get our
connective
plastic
abilities.
fruit from the plastic shops. It's the whole thing, isn't it? We should be eating differently, and
So
like, is, for instance, money is the god, but money is just an exchange of medium. That's all it should be. But that's the most important thing: is that money, that dollar, that pound. When actually the people are more important.
that's what their god is. It's the god of money. Their satanic system, Lucifer, is money. It's the control, the power, the money. That's what this whole satanic system is. Worship your money. You know, it's all about, you know, how much money I got in the bank, how much wealth, how much power through money.
And they've made sure to change the laws right now to make sure that you don't stop and help anybody. You can't feed the homeless. They've just changed.
That's crazy.
It's just amazing, and people don't realise they're just taking your rights away all the time. It's your choice if you want to give somebody who's homeless food.
It's your choice to do whatever you want with whatever is yours. Nobody can tell you that, and it's your choice to do what you want with your body. They can never tell you.
I've kind of done that for the last year or so. That's what I thought, and that's what I've been like.
So, you know, they create this, you know, movement called
One second.
My
Carry
Body.
on talking just for 1 second, guys. 1 second. Carry on talking. Sorry, carry on talking, boys. I just had to talk to someone who's leaving. Carry on. Finish your sentence. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So they created this. They created this called, you know, My Body, My Choice. But that only applies to, you know, females, you know, about sex. But it doesn't apply to them injecting you with things. Like, they create these movements that kind of go against what their agenda is. So they're really, you know, evil geniuses. But then they also have a lot of flaws in the system.
Yeah, they do.
And they love running it on fear, don't they? Because once you get people on fear, like the last year and the whole thing, then they've got you.
Yes.
We are all love. We are loving beings, and we're made out of love. We
need
love.
Contact, don't we? We need contact with each other. Just sort of made sure we've stayed in our houses for the last year, but we need contact with each other. We're living human beings.
They feed off of the fear. That's what feeds the satanic system, is people's fear. And then once you have fear, you're away from your true power of love, and then you decrease your immunity in that fear because, you know, scientifically proven the #1 cause of physical ailments in a body is stress. So when they put you in a stress state, in a fear place, now your immune system is weakened. Now they can indoctrinate you with their spells, where they can indoctrinate you with their drugs. They can indoctrinate you through their radio frequencies, their television frequencies. This is what they do to keep humanity down, is by fear. It's all the opposite of what we should be in, is love your brother and sister, love your earth, love being here, love. This to me is heaven, but it's only the satanic system that makes it hell.
It's pretty ugly at the moment, though, isn't it, here?
the system is ugly. I still have a good life. I have a beautiful girlfriend. I, have a beautiful mom. I have a beautiful dog. I do good things. I enjoy my days. And if it wasn't me feeling the negativity of the system that's, harming people and me feeling people suffering, then this place would be utopic and it would be heaven like it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
not. Yeah, well, we'd like it that way. Well, carry on, Alan. You carry on.
It's that energy that's being given to the universe that they're controlling by their spell, witchcraft, deception with the mind and the thought. And people just need to really wake up to what this system is really doing and what it's about, so that we can overturn this evil that's being put upon us.
We have purchasing power. That's where our power lies, because in the satanic system where money is God, it's where you spend that money is what feeds the system or starves the system. So it's about making proper choices with what we do with our purchasing power.
Yeah, well, well, I don't even know what you call this anymore, because most people believe that they want to link us up to a heart, basically. They want to link us into something else.
Now they want to link us into a computer.
The transhumanism agenda. So
Yeah.
Part of what these injections are is disconnecting people from the God gene, disconnecting you from source, disconnecting you from empathy.
Well, that's what I just feel like, I had a narcissistic boyfriend myself last year, and I'm not with him anymore, but I realised through watching the programmes that it wasn't just him who's a narcissist. It's my neighbour, it's my friends, it's my family. They're all narcissists.
Yeah, they're after controlling and owning everybody's soul energy.
They want your soul, and they do that either through the injections, but then they also
So they have to dumb us down because they've lied so much.
And when I was talking before about part of their covenant is that they have to, tell us what they're going to do to us before they do it to us. And they have to get us to agree. You have to agree to let yourself get injected by them in order for them to take your soul.
Yeah. Their ultimate gain is to control everybody's soul energy. That way they have all the power. And they can then they've already over trumped the kingdom.
Yeah.
And they want it destroyed. They want it destroyed. And from everything that I've seen and everything that's happening, what's happening to the earth, what's happening to humanity, they want to destroy it all. It's not I kind of go back and forth about, they feed off of, humans, they feed off, the misery, they feed off the fear, they need people around. But then I'm wondering, they say they want to limit the population under 500 million, but do they? Do they just want as many weak, sedated souls that they can control, because the more that they have, the more power that they feel that they have? Or are they just trying to destroy everything like it looks like they're doing? Because of look how much plastics are in the ocean. 70 or 90% of our oxygen comes from the ocean, and the ocean's being decimated. The ocean's being decimated by pesticides. The ocean is being decimated by sunscreens. The ocean's
well,
being
everything's being decimated, really, isn't it? I mean, everything's being destroyed.
Everything is being destroyed, including humanity and human, humans.
Well, what they want to do is they're basically racing you through something, and gosh, I've got a picture that's just fallen down. Sorry about that. Basically, we've got feelings, and they don't want us to have any feelings.
Have you seen the very first Terminator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
At the beginning where everything was kind of a wasteland and it was all just controlled by these machines?
Yeah, that's what they want.
So it's not just maybe what they want, it's maybe who's controlling them. Are they all controlled by artificial intelligence? Is artificial intelligence these computers?
Sorry
Are
about
they,
that. This picture decided to
are
have.
they
As you were
destroying
saying that, this picture had to fall down even more. You were probably right then. Carry on.
are they destroying everything because they don't want humans here, because all they want is the robots, the transhumanism,
I don't know though, but we've
the
been here. So many different people have been here. So many different cultures that we can't even work out how long ago, when it was, the whole thing. I told you, even the German, the Royal Roman thing, that's all changed. It's Germany, not Rome. So they do want humans here, but they're always telling us that they want to destroy us at the same time. Like, it's bizarre.
But the way it's looking, that they're destroying the earth, that they're poisoning everybody, like, you know, soon, once the ocean is gone, then humanity, once there's no more oxygen coming from the ocean, like, if you actually realized how much oxygen is in the air right now, you know, we're running at 20 or 30%. It was 150 years ago. So once the oxygen gets depleted, everything dies here except for the machines. The machines can live. So that's back to the transhumanism, why they're getting people's souls plugged into machines, because they want it to be an
Mind you,
actual
if he
term.
is dead, why would they want to keep here going?
Because it could continue on through machinery, like they can control this dimension without humans here. So this is kind of where my kind of latest thoughts have been, fighting whether or not they want humans here to feed off their energy, or they just want to destroy everything because artificial intelligence
What,
is
you
going
mean
to
you
take
wake
over
up tomorrow and they say you're on the moon and you believe them?
Well, it's like I just made a post, and it had a guy that had a seatbelt on him around his waist and around his shoulders, and he was sitting in the park, and it said the CDC tells you that seatbelt, you know, you need to wear a seatbelt outside of your car, you know, for other people's safety, right? So what they tell you, you're going to believe, or at least the ones that are indoctrinated.
Yeah, the television tells you what to think, what to wear, it tells you everything.
They tell a lie through your vision.
Yeah, television. Tell a lie on a vision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything against what, like, sex you prefer, whether you like women or you like men, whether you're a man or a woman. But what I don't like is that every time you turn the television on, you're not sure whether you're looking at a man or a woman. And I mean, I copy some of my music videos from a channel. I don't think they understand any of it, but nearly every picture they put up, I look at it and I think, that's a man dressed as a woman. Every single one.
It's the deception that's the hardest part, is, you know, like, you can do what you want, you can be what you want, you can kiss who you want, but just don't be deceptive about it.
Yes. Anything else you want to say, Alan?
Oh, wow. Well,
We
earlier
talk
I
about
was
these
listening.
things, don't we, Alan? We talk about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. I was watching a lady earlier today, Deborah Trevors. This lady is fantastic, what she has to say about what they're doing with all the spraying and all the poisons and the transhumanism. You know, so my question is, in the end, who are they that we are talking about? Is it computer, or is it just a few people in control?
Well, so, you know, all
Well,
kind
we
of
are
roads.
realising there's not 6,000 million actors, there's just a few of them. So it's probably just a few of them.
But who or what is controlling the system at the top?
We don't know, and that's the problem. Is it artificial intelligence that they're getting their sorcery from?
And so that AI, whatever, is controlling these monarch elites.
It's like when you watch the movies and then you have a king, and then the king has their on the side, they're either their sorcerer or their magician.
Their wizard. Yeah,
the wizard that kind of dictates to them. So is the modern day wizardry now artificial intelligence? They talk to their computer and it tells them what they need to do to destroy humanity or to whatever games they play. So this is something that is a definite possibility.
So like John Dee, he was the wizard to that queen that was imprisoned, and he prophesied that she'd be the next queen, and then she was. So she took him out of prison, and he became her wizard. John Dee, he was an astrologist. He could predict the future. Was he also maybe some kind of a computer then too?
That's definitely a possibility.
We don't even know how far back history goes, because they've added like 1,000 years, and then they're saying all these times happened when they didn't, and they probably did happen, but not when they said they did, and so it's a bit hard to put it all together. I like to know the past, the present, and the future.
Yeah.
A bit. The future a bit. I like to know the past and the present.
That's what that god Janus is all about. The god Janus can see into the past and the future.
Well, we want a better future. We're not getting a better future.
It knows the past and it knows the future, and it's relating it to man. So is that God a computer?
I mean, we're almost computers. We find out our skin has got silicon in it. We're like all these programs and films they make. We're like Blade Runners, but we last longer.
Right.
It's a bit bizarre.
I'm always having these dreams that I'm locked up and I escape. I'm the Blade Runner.
Well, yes, you're the goodie, aren't you, Ellen?
Yeah, and then when I escape, I find myself still enclosed in the system. Can't get out.
I've been having lots of dreams being on a cruise ship, and then they've been trying to come into the cruise ship, and the one I had not yesterday, the day before, I actually jumped from one cruise ship to another. They were all in this area, and they had the armies coming and trying to get people, and I'm escaping, but I'm a lot on water and a lot on cruise ships, so I don't know if that's the water coming down.
Talking about that, we realised the other day that probably it's not that you don't realise things, but when you look at things more deeply, we don't even think the Titanic was real. That was just a his story.
Right.
All these things, and say for instance when they said Kennedy died, I mean obviously a lot of people have died now, but everybody would know what they were doing on 9/11 that day. Everybody knows. They've got memories now. They've got memories they wouldn't have, and they've given you memories. Basically, like you're watching your Dallas and Dynasty and EastEnders and all that, and actually we're living in a living opera, a soap opera.
The thing about JFK, everybody loved that president, for what he was doing in his speeches. And then, his death hoax, because he became Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
They're just controlled oppositions playing that role to get everybody to like them, just like Trump and Reagan. These they're put in place to be the major Trojan horse to deceive the people. Get them to love them,
Yeah.
We are at the end game though here. Like things are, things cannot sustain itself. So either everything here is going to be destroyed.
That's the really weird thing. Right now, every time I go to look up some history, it's different to what I thought it was. They admired Napoleon here. I thought he was the baddie. I thought he was defeated. I thought. We're taught the Roman Empire was Rome. It's not. It's just when I go now and look up history, like say a year ago, I was trying to find the Empire State Building. Sorry, the Statue of Liberty on the Star Fort. You couldn't find any pictures of it actually with the Star Fort underneath. Now you can find hundreds of them. It's like everything's changing all the time.
Well, it's the Mandela Effect.
Yeah,
right?
I think that only happens when you wake up. To be honest, the Mandela Effect only comes in when you wake up. That's what I think.
So
I think
when
the Mandela Effect is just them rewriting everything.
they rewrite it, so like, just here's a prime example of modern day history of something that's, you know, tangible that we can all, you know because we've all lived through it. So back in January or February, when the stuff happened in China, when the videos were out, people were dropping like flies. They were actually literally dropping in the street from this supposed virus. So the first thing, because of all of my research and everything that I'd done, I made a public post and I said they lit up 5G and that's why people are dropping. And
Yep.
then they had to come out and they had to say that this was this virus that were doing this in order to protect, you know, people understanding that this, you know, these frequencies are depleting oxygen from the blood and actually making people drop. So now when it comes to the Mandela effect, now that's been scrubbed and they say that never happened. They say that these people that I watched videos of dropping, they say it's never happened. So they've scrubbed the internet from it and they're saying that this is a lie. But I saw it with my own eyes.
We saw news, didn't we, where people were being like put, you know, like
Yes.
with locks and things and sort of welded into their buildings.
A double deception. It happened, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, and they make people believe that it didn't happen when we know that it did. The ones that are awake, the ones that, you know, are awake to their BS, seen it and know it, but now they're trying to tell us that it didn't happen, and they're making people believe that that never happened.
Yeah.
Crazy. But it's all a game, isn't it? And I sometimes think that's what it is. I think sometimes, like, for instance, they gave us the Watts case. And they just want your reaction. I mean, it made many people depressed because they thought that someone had killed their pregnant wife and children. Then we got all their Facebook videos. We got stuff from the police, the interviews. It made the news. And then they've given you this whole story and it made millions of people feel utterly depressed. It's just a game. They want to see what you can see.
And they distract in order to do something else, whether or not putting in laws or putting in,
The one
you know,
thing I'm
whatever it
quite
is.
shocked at is, but then look at it, they closed us down overnight without one soldier or one police officer. So I said we're all narcissists, but I don't think we're very violent people. And look at it, I haven't heard the army or anything. It's just been dead quiet. It's like we've been locked up and that's the way it is. Do you feel that?
Because people are inherently good. People are good. Most souls are good, even though they're programmed, even though they may be narcissistic, even though some people do some shitty things. Of people are good people, good-hearted, good souls, good loving people that, you know, don't go out and want to go murder people or don't go out and want to go harm people intentionally, right? So, you know, people are good. So they're using that in order to keep us from actually going and stopping them, you know, with
and one way they do it is because, like we said, I said that people are narcissistic. They are, and it's quite horrible. I can't be around these people. But one friend was telling me how his sister, she's not like that. So she believes everything that's happening, but she's not like that. She wouldn't do that. So when he says the government's lying, she can't believe that they do that to you because she wouldn't do it. So they've got people a little bit like that, haven't they? Because people think, well, I wouldn't do that. And they can't imagine that anybody else would do it, but they do all the time.
Nobody wants to believe that they were conned, that they were suckered, that they, you know, that everybody wants to believe that, you know, hey, I supported this because it's real. It's because of ego. It's hard to say, wow, I was wrong. Wow, I can't believe I was lied to. It's hard for people to break that ego and to swallow their own pride and to say, wow, like I was wrong, like I'm an idiot, right? Nobody wants to say that because nobody wants to feel like that.
You have to remain open because what it is you say for instance, when we wake up we believe that, and then as time goes on and as the few years have gone past, I've changed my mind about some of those things. I've learned more and understood more, so it changes my mind again. But I'm still on the same course. I'm not changing my mind for what I believe in, but some things in it have changed a bit because we've got more information or understood it better. Or you do your own research. You know?
Yeah, I've never gotten a tattoo because the world is so evolving, and I feel from now, from 5 years, I'm going to be evolved into somebody or something totally different. Would I want that tattoo 5 years from now? I don't know, because the world is evolving. You have to adapt. You have to evolve. You have to learn new things. Learn that, wow, I've been lied to. And as much as I know I don't know much, because everything is deception. So how do you say you actually know something if it's all a lie? So I say that there's 4 types of people. The first person is the one who's fully indoctrinated and will believe anything. Second person is someone who's full of shit, and they'll tell you what they want to tell you because they want you to believe what they believe. The third type of person is the ones doing it to us. They actually know what's going on, and they're actually doing these things to us. And the fourth is everybody else just trying to figure this out like everybody else is.
I got it to 3, right? There are the globe people, there's those that think they're flat earthers, and then there's the flat earthers. Because everybody thinks they know everything, and, you know, they don't. But
For me, it's
go on,
it's the three people that, ones that can see, ones that are shown and can see, and the ones who see when shown.
Oh, that's quite wise, Alan.
I like that.
Say that again.
The 3 types of people, the ones that see and know what it is, ones that are shown and they can see what it is, and the ones that are shown and can never see, will never see. They don't want to see.
Yeah, we were kind of working out, like, it might be that everybody has a soul when they come here, but not everybody has a spirit. Spirits is what is the alive part of you. When you've got one of those people are empaths and whatever. And
But I think everybody is a soul and everybody has a spirit. I just think the spirit is taken from, whether it's, you know, sexual abuse or the program, the indoctrination. People have get their spirits taken away from them, and then they live here, you know, without that connection to spirit.
Yeah, their spirit has died.
Somehow it's been either died or it's been taken,
stunted.
Prisoners,
You know,
stolen,
if things
somehow.
happen to you when you're a child, I mean, you know, basically I was reading and it was basically saying you kind of shut off from that moment, because if you didn't, the vicissitudes of life would kill you of being a child. So it might be that when these things happen in childhood, it stunts everything and it stops there, whereas normal healthy things should happen and they don't because of what's happened to them.
And that's where people kind of get out of touch with their spirit. So when it says their spirit dies, I don't know if their spirit can ever die, but they can be disconnected from their
And
spirit.
whenever you're listening to any of this politics, no matter what year, it's 1930s, 40s, 50s, all the way up to now, it's always what a terrible time and we're always going to make things better, and it's not. It's always the same thing. It's just the same thing.
Yeah. Same game being played over and over.
Yeah, and it just but destroying. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, we've been going now for an hour and a quarter. I really appreciate you coming on and talking, because obviously I've still got the video with you with Sasha Stone on it, and you're listening to him, whereas on this hangout you talk.
I actually get to talk, and it's funny because sometimes when I'm interviewing people and, you know, they just talk and talk and talk, and I'll see a comment that says, well, are you going to let Jesse talk? Like, I actually hear sometimes people say that kind of stuff, but like I said, I'm not there to talk. I'm there to get them to talk.
Yeah, and
Right.
obviously with your people, it's always, you know, they don't want to be listening to you for an hour and a half and hardly anything from them. But sometimes, you know, as the time's gone on, I have a little bit more of an opinion than I used to. But sometimes that's just to say things myself. I used to sit in silence for 3 hours ago, and we used to go 7 nights a week. And I used to sit very quietly most of the time, except to say, oh, look, you know, Jesse's here and Alan's here. I'd say things like that, but I was very quiet. Now I talk a little bit more, but then I suppose, I don't know, you know a bit more as well, so.
Well, the reason why I wanted to bring you two together was because Jesse and I were talking before, and he wanted to have questions what he could ask David Icke. And so I was thinking right away of you, because I like the questions that you always bring up on these videos.
But I'd have to say to Jesse, ask him if he's Gary Newman.
but what kind of an intelligent question could Jesse ask David Icke?
And any of the listeners that are listening, the interview is on May 27th. So if anybody that's listening to this,
well, I'll tell you one thing, Jesse. You've always got to include. You've always got to include him in it. You've always got to include that person in it, whatever it is. So David Icke has to be a part of it when you ask the question, because that means he'll answer then.
Well, I just fire off questions, so I get all my notes, and then I just fire off questions. How they answer it is how they answer it.
Would you like that as a question on here? Because obviously we're finishing shortly, but that's the question you'd like to ask and see if any of what the chat room think, or anybody that watches this video.
Anybody that watches this from now until before May 27th, if they can just send you some questions and then you can send, forward them to me. And if it's something that I feel that's, valid or that I want to use, so it just kind of gives people some participation, and maybe there might be some really good questions out there that, wow, yeah, I'm going to ask this one, right? So it just gives people the opportunity. If you had a chance to ask David Icke something, what would that question be?
Right now, I have this question would be, the question for David Icke would be, what is his thoughts on what's controlling this, AI or a man?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I will definitely ask him that. I believe his answer is going to be
aliens.
that the reptilians.
Reptilians, yeah, it'd be the reptilians.
Right. So this is what I think he's going to say, but that's a good question.
Okay then, well, we've got that question looming now. Anybody think of any question that's a good question that Jesse can ask David Icke?
Oh yeah, he could ask him also about what he feels about flat Earth and Earth.
I don't think he'll answer that one. He won't answer that one.
It might not be a bad question, so
he'll probably say, "Well, you know my feelings on that," so he's sort of half and half. 1 minute I think, oh, the flat earthers like using him, and other times, anyway, I'm a bit. I'm not that biased about many people at all, but if I believe that you could be part of that system, I am.
Well, I know Jordan Maxwell. He's the one that brought in David Icke, and Jordan Maxwell also. He supports the alien.
We're in some enclosed place. Wherever they're coming from, they're in the same place as we are. They might not live here. They might be on another piece of land over there, but they don't come from the sky.
No.
I saw a map from a Buddhist text somewhere, and it actually showed, kind of the Earth that we kind of know, but then there's areas beyond the ice wall, and other areas that this expands outwards instead of, where our area is this set area, but there's other people, but it's not out flying in some spaceship, somewhere onto some other planet. It's actually in another area in this dimension.
Yeah, when the rockets are going out, and they're going out to these other realms, these other land masses. They're colonizing.
Well, look at it this way, right? We actually know America and Russia do not look at each other, but both say that they can see each other. So there's got to be more land. It's almost in our realm. It's just there, but we don't go there because we don't. I mean, why would someone in Russia go all the way across us to get to America?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
No. It's the same with Africa, I realise, because I know that England is lying on its side. When you see it like that, imagine now, if you just get your phone and get maps out and twist England to its side, you suddenly realise the whole of Europe and everything then twists round. And that Africa isn't pointing down, it's pointing... Well, let's just say we're pointing up north, and they've got Africa pointing south. When you twist England round, Africa's pointing east. So that's why no one in Africa flies to South America. They have to go across us and down to America because they're not near each other. It's crazy.
And then the whole other hoax about jet fuel hoax about, they're just being wind turbines that are up
Yeah,
there.
and guess
and
what's not flying in the UK right now? Aeroplanes. They're only flying over us, like they're quite high in the sky. So I'm on the flight path for Heathrow, so there's nothing going into Heathrow. It's really quite quiet right now.
There's an image that you can see about a plane, and then it shows how many jet fuel tankers would actually have to fill a plane for the amount of fuel that they take.
I used a video from a lorry driver. When you've got fuel like that or liquid in your lorry, you've got to drive very carefully, especially when you stop. If you stick your brakes on, that stuff's going to hit you. You can't have tons and tons in an aeroplane and think that when it's taken off, it's not going to do the same thing.
Totally, it's gonna shake it back and forth. So
every plane would come down. Once the plane tried to turn to the right or something, the plane would just drop. A bit like a plane we saw happen in the Middle East. It happened. A 747 just dropped out of the sky. It would be like that.
Of course, all the liquid would go from one side to another, and it would bring it down that way. So, again, more deception, more, all
of it is.
How can they fleece people for as much money as they can?
I know, especially when we've got to make the planes. You've obviously got to buy your slot at the airport and buy probably licenses to fly, and you've got to pay the people. We understand that, but to use petrol, that's just sick. It's damning. It's terrible. But listen, I actually have another hangout, my own, on Sun and Moon, which I have to go to.
It's okay. I've got to get going. I'm going out to the mountains.
I've really enjoyed this, Jessie, because obviously I didn't really know you before. This is Alan's put us together. Maybe you come back again and do another one.
Of course, this is great. I love talking. I love bouncing ideas off each other, and I think this is how we learn.
Yeah, and we need to, we have to come together better. Like more people come together, the better.
Unifying each other is what we need to do. That's the only way that we can stop them is by unifying each other. So that's, I'm all for that in any way possible.
Oh, and thank you, Alan.
Oh, thank you too. You guys both made my day.
Oh, I'm sure it was Jessie talking that really made your day, but thank you, Alan. I love you.
But you making this happen, it's it's all of you. So thanks very much.
And love to you, Jessie.
Alan, thank you so much. And we're gonna figure this out. I am here to help unify humanity, just like I'm sure each and everyone here and everyone listening. So just keep that in mind and look to
just put up there. Don't forget to go to the missing link on Facebook, missing link on YouTube.
On YouTube, and this Thursday coming up on May 6th is Remigio Pereira. So he's an international recording artist. He was singing in front of the world on TV, and he was part of the Tenors. It was the Canadian Four Tenors. And he actually changed the national anthem to All Lives Matter, and then that got him thrashed. It got kicked out of his own group that he started. He really woke up to what was going on, and he's got a lot of amazing information coming from someone at a pretty high up level, of what's going on. So, definitely going to be a fascinating chat. He's off grid, so he's going to be doing out of his car. So he has to drive somewhere to get
Wi-Fi. After what we've been talking about, the fact that nobody's real, from the film stars to the politricks, it's quite nice probably to hear real people talking and being able to have a voice, to be honest.
Somebody real who woke up.
We have to start listening to the right people, not thinking it's Katy Perry and all that rubbish, Miley Cyrus and all that. You have to, yeah. I think you get my drift. But it's been an absolute pleasure. So thank you, Jessie. Mwah. Thank you, Alan. Mwah. Thank you, chat room. Mwah.
Okay, bye everyone.
And don't go, Jessie. We'll say goodbye after I turn the button off, and I'm turning it off now.